Hello, hello, YouTube world and Real Magic community. Today, you and I are going to uncover how to establish yourself as a leader and why more confidence just isn't enough, isn't just the answer. This is for you who are leading yourself, your family, your team, your colleagues. We're all leading somebody. And the first person we should be leading is ourselves. If you're watching this part, you're probably watching the replay, so make sure you fast forward just a minute or two. We're just going to welcome everybody onto the live stream today. And hi, Git, hi, Nede, welcome in. Good to see you guys. This is about leading yourself and others. This is such an important topic. If you are a family mom, you're leading your children. If you are a partner, you're leading your partner. You are also leading people around you at work, on your team. If you are a business owner, certainly this is very, very valuable for you. This is a concept that I had to learn the hard way, and I'll get into that in a moment, and also what it has done for me and what it will do for you. And then you will receive some very tangible insights and tools today that will help you with leadership in general. So this is about how to establish yourself as a leader and why more confidence just isn't the only answer. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Ulla. Hi, Pierre. All our Danish friends are here. It's so wonderful to see you guys. I love that. And as we are expanding, on this platform, we're sharing more and more tools and techniques here. We're doing that in English, and it's so wonderful to see that you're here joining us as well. So one of the things that we have to realize is that no great leader in history set out with a goal of just becoming a great leader. And I hear that sometimes. We have clients, in fact, or people that are joining us, and I ask them what their goals are, and they would say, well, my goal is to become a great leader. But that is not a good goal. And you would think it would be, but it's really not. It's not a good goal. It will be the byproduct of a great goal. Great leaders throughout history, great leaders in industry, great leaders all over, people who are leading themselves, their families, people around them, they're not self-absorbed in the sense that they want to become a great leader. They are emotionally involved in a mission that is so much greater than themselves. And I remember the first time I met Bob Proctor, and he asked me what I wanted to do. And I said, I want to help people all over the world lead better, richer, and more fulfilling lives. In fact, millions of people. He said, that means you'll have to lead people, Anders. And he said, the first person you will have to learn to lead is yourself. I'm like, all right then. So good leaders are people who are emotionally involved in a mission that is so much greater than themselves. And as a consequence of that, they have to learn how to elevate their leadership skills. Let me know if this makes sense. Hi, Eva. Good to see you. Hi, Anita. Welcome, welcome. So we're talking about leadership today and how to lead yourself and others. And we're all leading somebody. Make no mistake about it. You're leading your family. You're leading your friends. You're leading your team. If you're a business owner, you're leading your colleagues. If you have a job. So when it comes to leadership, it's an interesting thing because it's a mindset thing. It's a subjective mindset thing in most cases. And what you will find is that people who are not very good at leading, they are focused on making people around them think that they are great as a leader. Whereas the really great leaders throughout history are obsessed with helping people around them like themselves better. So there's a big distinction there. Back to the idea that great leaders are people who are really emotionally involved in a mission, in a cause that is so much bigger than themselves. And so for me, I did not set out to become a great leader at all. I did not set out to lead anybody, but I did set out on a mission to help people. And like Bob pointed out, for me to be able to do that, I first have to help myself. I first have to set some really high standards for myself. And as I do that, and as I move forward, and as I created my vision for the company and for the movement that we are in the middle of right now, we've already helped over 10,000 beautiful souls live better, richer, and more fulfilling lives. I had to improve my leadership skills throughout. In the beginning, I was not good at it. But today, as a consequence of me improving my leadership skills, I am the CEO and owner of a multi-million-dollar business that has generated well over $10 million in just a few short years. But that's not an accident. These are all byproducts of inner leadership. And the same with you. If you are looking to strengthen your business, your team, if you're looking to just strengthen your life as a whole, you have to get better at leading yourself. And so there's the first point here. Anita, I'm happy that it makes sense to you. Hi, everybody. Hi, Susanne. So we're talking about leadership today, and we're talking about how important it is to be able to lead yourself first and foremost so that you can lead others. But great leaders don't set out on a mission to become great leaders. Great leaders set out on a mission to help others. And this is really where self-image comes into it, because we talk a lot about self-image in our programs, in our community, but there's a difference when it comes to a strong leader's self-image. Because first and foremost, they have their focus on service, they have their focus on helping others, and because their focus is on others, they're bound to elevate their own standards. But they're not focused first on elevating their own standards. They're focused on looking to the outside world to see where they can contribute. And if we don't have the right, I call it CEO self-image, our Chief Executive Officer self-image, you and I are Chief Executive Officers of our life. And so that self-image, if we don't have the right self-image, you tend to become a micromanager in your life and in your business and on your team real fast, where you nitpick and you micromanage. And most people who are going into business or who are leading teams have a tendency to do that. They have a tendency to micromanage and to implement everything themselves. And that is not a growth strategy. That will lead to stagnation and death. Maybe not physical death, but definitely financial death in a company, if that is what you're leading. So you need to place first your focus on self-image, and a little later we'll talk about what that means and how to do that. But then you have to make people around you feel really great about themselves. As an example, I had a client. She was a leader she was responsible for almost 30,000 people. She was HR manager in one of the biggest companies in Denmark, and her self-image did not fit the role. So can you imagine if you are being offered a position or you are being offered an opportunity and your self-image does not align with that? You can't lead anybody because you're not really good at leading yourself. And so she had her skill set. She was very good at what she was doing. That is why she was offered the position. But her self-image didn't match. So you might recognize that you have a skill set in an area and you're good at something. But if you don't have a self-image that matches that and even supersedes it, you're not going to go very far. And she had an inferiority complex. She didn't feel she was worthy of the position. So she was stagnating her own growth, and it led to the stagnation and results she didn't want. But the moment we started working with her self-image, everything started to shift. And she placed focus on the people that she was leading and how she could help them. And because she placed focus there, she was bound to increase her own self-image, because her focus wasn't on herself anymore and whether or not she was good enough. Her focus was on serving the people that she was leading. And so that is such an important point, and I think it's overlooked. Marianne says, leaders are givers. They operate the laws of the universe and know that giving is receiving. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's exactly it. But it's simple to understand, right? But actually applying it and living it is two different things. So in this case of that client that I had, when she shifted her self-image, she went from implementing, from doubting herself, from nitpicking and focusing on skill set and details, to elevating herself to a higher value level. So you will have to realize that really good leaders are great communicators. They are great with communicating because they can move people emotionally. Whereas people who aren't very good at leading, there's always one common denominator. They are not very good at communication. And so if you're looking to lead others, to lead a mission, to get your vision out in the world, you have to elevate your communication skills. It is absolutely a necessity. And so if you overlook this important aspect of self-image as it relates to leadership, you are stuck in the trenches of strategy. and you hear people say, what do I have to do to get better results? It's not what they're doing, it's who they are. It's how much focus they place on the people they're leading, and how much focus they place on helping them. And they are really good at spending time with other leaders who think the same as they do. We talk a lot about that with our clients in our business mastery programs, and where we actually help them implement these self images and the belief systems we have to hold on a subjective level. But for your growth to become exponential, for your growth to really accelerate, you have to own this concept, and not just understanding it. There's a big difference between understanding something and actually owning it subjectively. So when we talk about leadership, we've already mentioned you have to place focus outside of yourself. Don't strive to become a great leader. Then you are your energy is inverted. Your focus is on you. Focus on becoming more for people you are leading. Focus on providing better and greater service to the world. Then you are bound to elevate your leadership skills. Of course you are. But that need is almost secondary. So the lowest value level in this world is implementation, and one of the highest is communication. So back to the idea that you have to be more. Again, great leaders are great communicators. When you look, you don't have to look very far down towards history for good and bad. Great leaders throughout history who have shaped history were great communicators. Martin Luther King, great communicator. Hitler, great communicator too, but they just used their skill set for two very different things. So you can move. Gandhi is another great example. He moved 200 million people towards India's independence. Little guy, little of stature, but man, was he good at leadership. Emotionally conveying an idea that moved 200 million people towards the same objective. Talk about great leadership. Emotional involvement. Now I talk about Gandhi, but here's a guy who embodied the principles of servant leadership. Servant leadership, not important leadership, but servant leadership. Somebody who placed the needs of the people first. A great leader strives to serve rather than to be served. And there's a lot of great examples throughout history where we can let ourselves be inspired by their examples to understand how this really works. And Gandhi's dedication to his social and political issues of the time was rooted in a deep sense of duty, but also humility. He realized that he wasn't better than anybody. Any great leader realized they're the exact same expression as anybody else. Hey, Sebastian, good to see you. That's so nice. I appreciate you being here. So, we have to recognize that when it comes to leadership, it's the key takeaway here is that true leadership is embodying the idea that you prioritize the well-being of your followers. A person who shows empathy and commitment to a cause that is so much bigger than themselves, they become great leaders. I was a terrible leader in the beginning when I started. I'm a little bit better today, but I'm by no means perfect at this, by no means, but I'm better than who I used to be. I was not a great leader, but I was involved in a mission that was so much bigger than myself. And I had to learn a lot on the way. I tried to lead people too early before I was good at leading myself, but I also recognized the more I led myself, the more I attracted people who were ready to grow alongside me. And so good leaders, I believe, are people who are, like I said before, emotionally involved in something that is bigger than themselves, and they attract others to join them in the mission. But what they do then is they focus on the individuals that they're leading. They ask them about what their goals are, and they bring their individual goals in harmony with their goal or their vision. That's what I do on my team. We have a great team. We have like the best team in the world, and we've attracted them. I know that we've attracted these superstars because we're all emotionally involved in the same thing. But the point is, I know what their goals are, each and every one of them. And that's the first question I ask. And if they're growth oriented, they're coachable, I know that we can create great things together. And my job as a leader now is to bring their individual goals in harmony with the goals of the company, of where we're going. Now we're working together. Now we're emotionally involved in the same thing. And I believe that's one of the hallmarks of great leadership. When I have clients that ask me, well, like my team, they don't do what I say. They're not really following. Well, that's a symptom, because they haven't sat down with them and they have not communicated at a deep enough level where everybody's emotionally involved in the same thing. So self-image is first, then I'll come back to the emotional involvement, because that is another great hallmark of leadership. Hey Fleming, good to see you. Hi Susanne, great to have you with us. So we've already talked about it. Mediocre leaders are busy getting people to think highly of them as a leader. Really great leaders are busy, preoccupied with getting people around them to think highly of themselves. And everybody on my team is a leader in their own right. They lead themselves and they have infinite potentialities ahead of them, because as they grow as individuals and contributes to the growth of the company, there's just no end to what they can do. They will attract other team members to work alongside them in their respective areas of expertise. But it's really the identity first, and I think that's an overlooked part of it too. Back to the idea that you, like Bob said to me, Anders, you can't lead anybody if you're not leading yourself first. So back to the identity, your self-image is first. You have to see yourself as somebody who is emotionally involved in something so much greater than you. And as you elevate your standards, as you integrate the new beliefs that you have to hold, your behavior shifts. So it's identity first, behavior second. Most people focus on behavior. What do I need to do to get better results? But it's first, who do you have to be? So you integrate the new image, the new identity, the behavior shift, and then the results happen as a consequence. But results happen naturally. Now you let results happen. You don't make them happen. You let them happen. And when you do that, you will find how much easier it is to lead others, because you are talking on a subjective level to you. You can also talk on a subjective level to other people. That means when you are talking, and I know this is an example of a parent who's leading a child, when a parent, instead of saying, you should be eating healthy, eat that food, you have to. When the parent starts talking to the child about all the benefits that they will have, all the that they're gonna feel like Superman when they eat the spinach. They're gonna feel great when they do that. That is great leadership, because they're talking on an emotional level with that child, where the suggestion lands subjectively, so that the child's behavior changes. That's great leadership. Well, great leaders also do that with teams. Great leaders do that with their audiences at scale. So really important to understand here, the better you get at implementing new beliefs within you, that is talking to your own subjective mind in images, sounds, and emotions, that is the language of your subjective mind. As you're increasing your own image, it becomes easier for you to help others around them increase theirs and help them move towards something that they have told you they want more of. This is not manipulation. This is establishing emotional rapport with somebody, and that is great leadership. Whereas mediocre leaders tell their people, well, you should be doing this. Why aren't you doing it? Well, I don't know. Well, the reason why you aren't is because you're not emotionally involved in the same thing. So here you have two ignorant people trying to change something. That's bad. That's bad leadership. Whereas a great leader would study themselves long enough to understand how their mind works, then they would start talking in a language that corresponds with the follower's emotional mind, so that they now work in harmony around the same idea. Now you have a team that moves together. Okay? So this is important. That is an overlooked part of leadership in many cases, I find. But you have that example, right? So you know that from maybe you've been on a team, or you worked somewhere in corporate or somewhere else, and you had an employee that were not doing the work that you knew they were supposed to do. And they probably knew they were not doing what they were supposed to do either. And they're being called in to a talk with their, superior, the manager, and it ends in a dialogue where the manager asks them, why aren't you doing what you know you should be doing? Well, I don't know. I'll try my best. Next week is going to be different. And next week is pretty much a repeat performance of the last week. What's happening? They're trying to force a behavior. That never works. The identity has not been shifted. Their emotional mind has not accepted a new idea. So it's a temporary fix. It's a temporary sugar fix. It doesn't work. 2-3 weeks later, boom, back to the same pattern, and the person is probably getting fired in the end. So you have two ignorant people trying to solve something. What's the solution? The solution is that the leader, you, starts to understand more about you and how to talk a different language so that you can lead people down a different path that they already told you they wanted more of. Okay, so this is so important. And so what's the key to all of this? The key is that you become better with a concept called auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion is taking statements, writing out statements from yourself to yourself and repeating them often. Sounds like corporate. That's most corporate, Marianne. It's symptom treatment all over the place. Very few people understand what's actually going on, but not just in corporate, in many situations, in families, with other people. Why don't you do this? We've talked about it. Yeah, I know. Partners in between each other. Many examples. We can pull examples from all areas of life. All right. So emotional intelligence, absolutely, Ulla, that's becoming more and more a thing, a language that leaders have to be able to speak. And that is in essence what we're talking about here, just clothed in a different term, So it starts with you elevating your standards. And how do you actually do that? How do you do that? Well, you do that by implementing a concept called auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion are statements from yourself to yourself. Heterosuggestion is statements from the outside world to you. That we need to block off a little bit more. So you need to write out exactly an image of you as a leader in your life, in your business, on your team, on your family, and how you're leading everybody around you to better and greater, because you are emotionally involved in better and greater. So people will automatically gravitate towards you. That's why I say great leaders throughout history, very few of them have set out on a path to become a great leader. Most of them have set out on a path to fulfill a mission, a vision that is so much bigger than themselves. And as a result of that, they attract people to work with them. And this goes in all areas. So you write it out because you think in images. You are an image maker, like Bob Proctor would say. So you think in images, you have to write out that new image of you as a leader in your life, in your business, in your world. So because we think in images, wouldn't it make sense then to build that image of you leading yourself to great success with high standards? I believe so. I really believe so. And it starts with you. Most people say, well, I want a big business. I want great success. I want more freedom. I want more money. I want more this and that. Well, congratulations. These are all effects of a main cause. And the main cause is you. And if you're unwilling to raise your standards and keep them where they should be, you just don't deserve to win. It's that simple. But when you do work with your own image and you do get emotionally involved in something bigger than yourself, everything shifts. Because now you attract people that you will be leading, and that will require you to continuously upgrade your skill set. I'm reading a book right now about leadership and more skill set in that regard. I always do. I always immerse my mind in something that I don't know. And I realize I've learned something, over the last few years. The people that think they know the most are the dumbest. I'm sorry to say, but that's just the way it is. The people that are the smartest are people who they're humble enough to know that the more they know, the more there is that they don't know. All right. The people that think they know it all are arrogant. They are so, they think they learned it. There's no end station. There's no, I learned it, I'm becoming better at it. That's it. Nobody ever learns this. We just become a little bit better at it every single day. And so I would, if I were you, make a committed decision today to first and foremost get emotionally involved in something that is so much bigger than you, something that is really, truly worthy of you. And as you build that image, secondly, as you shift your identity, your behavior will start to shift, your attitude and your actions and everything will shift. And the energy that you're in will cause you to attract from a different frequency, completely different frequency. And that's when you will realize the need for even greater leadership skills, because you will continuously attract people that are inspired by your example. And your job now is to help lead them. And your first order of business is to figure out what they want more of. Then you bring your vision in harmony with theirs, and now you work together as a team towards bigger, greater, and in our case, a mission. In fact, I have our mission statement right here in front of me because we use it every week as a team. Our mission is to inspire and empower our participants globally through our events and coaching programs, helping millions of people lead healthier, richer, and more fulfilling lives. Personal transformation meets magic, and this we're doing. We're doing it. We're not just talking about it. We're actually doing it. We've already helped over 10,000 people in a very short amount of time, and this is just the beginning. We're in the infancy stage here. We're building a new model that makes the previous models completely obsolete. And I've built a new model virtually every year since I started, and that's caused a big shift in the business, in the way we do things. It's also caused us to attract new talent, and unfortunately had to let go of people that weren't in harmony with that vision. And that's just the way it is. It's not easy, but it's necessary. And like Steve Jobs would say, if you want to be popular as a leader, don't be a leader, sell ice cream. You will, the more people that like your mission, that are attracted to you, there will also be an equal, a proportionate amount of people that just don't. That will give you pushback and resistance. And you have to, as a leader, be very clear on where you're going. One of the hallmarks of great leadership is to have a focused mind, a willpower that is really strong, because you will be up against all sorts of unfortunate events, beautiful gifts in ugly wrappings, as I like to call them. All right, folks. So any questions around this topic? Now is a great time. I'd love to take some questions as well. This is important. This is not just for people in business. We're all leading in our life. Make no mistake about it. You're leading your family. You're leading your friends. You're leading people around you. And you're also leading people on a team. If you're on a team, and you're also leading your employees if you have a business. But this is important. It places you in the driver's seat of your life, regardless of who and whom you are leading. All right. So very, very good. Great to see that all of you are live with us. Make sure that you look and stay on our YouTube channel and turn on notifications and look at all the other great videos we put up. We do these every week at 9 o'clock Eastern time here and 3 p.m. Danish time. All right. I'm just going to transcribe and translate here. Sebastian asks, I'm noticing that my followers are showing me more and more gratitude, and they're writing to me that they're interested in working together with me. Is the next step to ask more about what they want? Absolutely. That is the next step, Sebastian. And that is really great sales. A great leader is a great salesperson. It's a person who is very preoccupied with finding out what people want more out, what they want more of. And if you know you can help them, then your job is to go help them. That's great leadership, Sebastian. So you go. Help those people. It's great leadership. I'm going to come back to you and thank you for actually offering your help. And so maybe that's a video we are going to do soon about sales. Sales and leadership goes hand in hand. Sales and service goes hand in hand. You cannot separate the two. Okay. So yeah, focus on what they want, and then you come up with the content, Sebastian. That is exactly the way to do it. Beautiful. Great. Great questions. Love that you're live with us. Make sure you, like I said, check out our other videos here on mindset and how to create more out of life that you want more of, whatever that is. It could be joy, happiness, more freedom, more income. There's a lot of great tools here that will enable you to do that. And we have a playlist now complete with all different kinds of meditations that are structured around a specific focus area that you might have. So if you want more abundance in your life, abundance of what? You are already rich. You can have an abundance of friends, an abundance of health, an abundance of wealth. Make sure you understand that it's something you release from within. That is also something that's on that playlist. All right. So this wraps up our little session today on leadership. And I appreciate you guys for being here. We'll see you next week. Remember, it's not who you are that holds you back from anything you want in your life. It's all those illusions of who you think you are not. And if you joined midway, go back and watch this video from the beginning. It was all about how to establish yourself as a leader and how more confidence is not the only answer. Bye for now.